power it up, it tells you what mode it's in. It gives you just 4-roller pump and a version 2.21, and then it goes to the basic screen for running, which the top screen, if you're in continuous mode, the top screen is your pounds per hour. Right now, this is set for 2,000 pounds per hour because there's no decimal point on the screen. I'll show you in a minute how to change that. This is your letdown ratio, 2%, 2.00, and this is your weight per gallon, 12.0. To change these, there's 2 buttons next to each number. There's a lower one to bring it down. So 10.9 pounds per gallon, or up arrow, bring it back up to wherever it is, 11.2. This is your letdown again. I could lower that down. If I hold it, it'll start to go faster. And then just pressing it one at a time will go slow. So 1%. Okay, to get into the setup mode, to change either from continuous to cycle mode, or to move this decimal point. This decimal point right now, like I said, is 2,000. There's no decimal point there. We can bring it back to where that's 200, or we can bring it to where it's 20. Just gives you different precision. But you have to start with it off, and you hold down these 2 buttons. The very top button and the second from the bottom button, which is the top, the lower display. Hold them down at the same time, and then power it on. And when you see a display, you let go. Now it's in that mode. So this is in a setup mode. It's telling me it's in continuous right here. I can press either of these buttons up or down, and it'll cycle through. That's cycle mode for injection. That's extrusion following, FOL for following. And that's continuous. That's what we're running right now in continuous mode. To go into a sub-menu of continuous mode, I hold these 2 buttons down for 5 seconds. I just press them both and hold it until the display changes. There. This is US or European, metric or internet or US mode. We'll leave it in US. ASE means auto stop enabled. That's going to require that there's a cable hooked up to this wired into the machine. If I toggle this to auto stop disabled, then I'll be able to run it without having to hook up the signal cable to the extruder. So I'm going to leave it like that. To get out of there, I can either just turn it off and back on, or I can just hit the run switch and turn it off. In the manual, this is all described in the manual. The manual's not that long, so there's a few pages that talk about what I was just talking about there. And I want to go back here because I want to change it to the decimal point, what's called the X factor here. So this, when we were on that display continuous, there was a 10 there, and there's 210 here. But that 10 is the X factor. It's what moves the decimal point here. So from 0.1 to 1.0 or to 200 on the screen, meaning 2,000. Okay, we'll go back and change that now. So I'm going to turn it off. Hold this button and this button down. Turn it on, and then let go. So this 10 here, if I will toggle between 0.1, 1, and 10. That moves the decimal point. I'm going to leave it at 1. That's normally how it is. And while we're on here, this 210 relates to the tubing size. Okay, in the manual, bring this back over here. The manual, there's tubing factor. For the green hose, it's 210. For the red, it's 465. And for the clear, it's 735. Okay. Now this timed out while we were doing that, so I'm going to go back in there again. Hold this down. Okay. And I got to change this to 735. So I'm going to hold this button down because I have a green tube here. I have a clear tube here. I'm going to go to 735. Okay. And I'll leave it on 1 for right now just because that's what I want to show you the decimal point. So, toggle it. Okay, so now it's running. It's in continuous mode. You can stop it and start it with this run switch. It's running at 200 pounds an hour, 1%, with a weight per gallon of 11.2. Okay, for the test that we're about to do, I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to change the X factor to 10. Continuous mode 10, 735. Okay, you can hear it's running actually faster now. It's running at 2,000 pounds an hour, 1%. And this weight per gallon you can adjust on the fly. It's going to be 9.6 for this color. Okay, and there it just made the change. You heard the pitch change. With it stopped, you can force it to run by pressing the prime button or the reverse button to run the other direction. Okay, good, stop that.